The Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living and the Ministry of Dr. Moira Foxe presents Living Ideas.
And so here we are, we're getting to look at something very wonderful and something very, very, very amazingly helpful to us all. And that is love and its healing power. Now, of course, love is a many splendid thing and all of that. But we're not looking at it like that today. We're endeavoring always to look at things metaphysically when we come here, which means beyond the usual, beyond the norm, whatever the norm is. And in the beginning, God, in the beginning, love, it's all the one and the same thing, whatever we want to call that thing, called the fullness and the wholeness and the completeness of life. We know that its essence is love. And life is filled with that essence, love. And that's what we want to take a deep look at this coming week with regard to how we understand it in our own lives, because it's the most misunderstood word on the planet. There is no adequate definition of love, thankfully, because if there were, then we would be saying we know everything there is to know about love, and we would have put the final full stop or period at the end of that word. And it's not like that. For me, love is the eternal mystery that we're always endeavoring to unravel. It is the eternal adventure we're always in. And we unfold more and more and more of that mystery and enjoy more and more of that adventure as we become more spiritually skilled or spiritually mature, that is. And as we stop calling it what it is not. And so very many of us, you know, we misplace definitions, and we misname things. It was Zeno a long time ago, that wonderful Greek philosopher, who said, you know, in all of our learning, the most essential thing in learning is to unlearn our errors. Unlearn our errors, or Emerson would say, you know, unlearn the wisdom of the world. Because things are never what they appear to be. Rarely, rarely are they. You're not what you appear to be, no more than I am, even unto ourselves. So it's so funny when we sit down and emphatically and absolutely declare something to be so. And it's all opinion. And opinion is not the absolute truth, and far from it. But here we are, we're faced with this wonderful opportunity to get a little bit more on the inside of what this thing called life or love is. And it's the transcendence of it that we want to capture. And very few people have ever been able to experience the transcendent element of love. And what is that? When we're in transcendence, what we have succeeded in doing is to go beyond the thinking about something, the feeling about something, the definition of something, and go into the thing itself. It's to go beyond words and go beyond feelings and go beyond definitions and be in the actual experience of the thing itself. And the few that have succeeded in doing that we call enlightened. And we would all like to be amongst the few. And why not? And why not indeed? It's given to us to awaken in that way. Because like it or not, know it or not, believe it or not, each and every one of us is the essence of love in form. God by means of each one of us, or the divine by means of each one of us, the infinite presence and energy and life of the universe by means of us, shows up as an aspect of itself. And the aspect of spirit is love. So you and I are love, personified in form. And yet, what we think love is, we associate with emotionality, sexuality, sentimentality, and all of that kind of thing. Now, they may all be contained within the whole picture of love, but they're certainly not what love is by any manner or means at all. We talk about falling into love and falling out of love and looking for love, and maybe one day we'll find love, and it's all a whole load of bunkum and nonsense. Because how can you fall out of what you're always in? And how can you fall into what you already are in and are? And how can you one day find something you already have found etc., etc., etc. It makes no sense when you look at it like that. And yet, there's a feeling within us that we are lacking something and that we need more than what we have. We need more than what we have. And yet, the essence of love, again, is wholeness and fullness and completeness of being. And it's given to you and it's given to me to experience life at that level. And we have the means to do that. Whether we choose to or not, we have the means to do that. Now, Emmett Fox, one of my favorite writers in metaphysics, says that there is nothing enough love cannot heal. Nothing. And I know that to be so because love is always enough. Wherever it is, it's enough. And wherever love is, nothing is lacking. Nothing is without. Nothing is short of anything. Wherever love is in its entirety, the fullness of life is, the wholeness of life is. And so I understand that very well. But, you know, we get confused in the human, on the human plane when we think about good and bad and duality, and we're dealing with not a very loving energy sometimes out there, or even within ourselves. And since God made all of life, you know, then surely God must have made the bad with the good and blah, 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 blah. And as a child, I used to wonder about that myself. And the truth is, and we want to get it straight on the record today, that life is good and life is very good. Love is good, love is very good. Truth is good, truth is very good. Light is good, light is very, whatever you want to call this thing, called divinity, out of which we all came, and an aspect of which we all are. It's good and it's very good, and it only knows how to be good. And it only knows how to create good because it creates from itself. And it only has itself to create from, consequently it creates good, and only good. Okay, how do you explain sickness and all the rest of it in the world? Well, if you understand the teaching, you know that although we were created magnificently, we were given the ability to think and to choose the thoughts we were going to think and to choose the feelings we were going to entertain. Now, thoughts and feelings have an effect on form. Thoughts and feelings have an effect on form. My chronic tendency toward negative thinking and chronic negative thinking can create a disturbance within me as well as around me and about me. And so although all of the cells of my body were created good and very good, and all the bacteria in my body was created good and very good, I can affect all of that through the way I'm thinking and through the way I'm feeling. Many, many studies have been done over years with many, many types of groups and so on. And I can remember when I was in college, they did a great study with many pregnant, over 1,000 pregnant women in Scotland. And the result of that was, and they monitored the babies for years, the result of that testing showed that women who were in negative states, all types of negative states, from mild to chronic, passed their emotional feelings onto their babies via the umbilical cord and the catecholamines in the body. And those children were affected to various degrees emotionally as a result of that. Studies too have shown that mothers who are breastfeeding their babies, you know, if they're in chronic upset states or depressed or whatever, that babies have been reported to be upset and distressed and even sickly. And so, I mean, it's a beautiful example of all of us needing the milk of human kindness, but most especially little babies. And we know that this is so. We know ourselves that we can affect our own bodies by the way we're thinking and the way we're feeling. We can break out in rashes. We can break out in sweats. We can start shaking and quaking. We can start tearing up. We can, you know, give ourselves a headache, give ourselves a stomach ache. We do it all the time. We're very good at it, actually. And so we know that that is possible we are affecting the very composition of our body and the whole system of the physicality of ourselves when we chronically, consistently think negatively and back that up with negative feelings. We can even sicken ourselves unto death. People have done that, actually. And so that's how we can move into disease and discomfort, through that way of thinking, through that way of feeling, and through that way of being. And when we're thinking and feeling and being like that, we are totally separated from any concept of lifefulness or love. We've lost that. We think actually we're without it, is what we're thinking. We're feeling depleted in our reservoir of energy in life. We're feeling depressed in our emotions. We're feeling maybe angry in our emotions, very bitter, and so on and so forth. And there's nothing like a good bout of hatred and bitterness and resentment to upset the physicality of ourselves. Nothing at all. Now, we all know this, and yet, we continue to entertain those negative thoughts and those negative feelings because we are addicted to negativity. And we have to get over our addiction. It's in race conscious mind. It's in the psyche, so to speak. So we have to start removing that from our consciousness, drip by drip by drip, which is thought by thought by thought. And as we do it in thinking, we will do it in feeling. So it's given to you and it's given to me to be able to stay healthy and well by supporting medicine out there with the medicine in here. And love is the greatest of all medicines. It is the grand, it is the great, it is the glorious physician. That's what it is. And we can both assist each other. You know, the medicine that is produced via the understanding and the intelligence moving through human minds, and the medicine that exists naturally within ourselves. Work together with the two, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And so it's not any surprising to me at all that Jesus said, "Physician, heal thyself." No, physician, heal thyself. Now, of all the people that lived in this plane, I think the master teacher Jesus, or as I like to call him, the master lover Jesus, had love down to a very refined degree, and reminded us, reminded us that God is love, and we who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in each one of us. His words were always, love one another as you have first been loved. Love one another as I have loved you. And not only that, but love your neighbor as well as God, and love yourself as well as your neighbor, and more than that, love your enemy and do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who persecute you and despitefully use you. Go the extra mile in all of your dealings with life and living. That's what love does. That's what love does. Because it can. Why can love do that? Because love is unified. It's not experiencing separation. And we get ourselves into trouble with each other because we think we're separate from each other, and we don't understand. I am my brother's keeper, and my brother's keeper is me. I am my brother is me. I am my sister is me. I mean, we're all a reflection of the one thing, and therefore, consequently, related to each other, aspects of each other, parts of each other, mirrors into which we all look. We know this. And so given that, if we could just step away from thinking that we're separate from each other, but we're only separate from each other because we think we're separate from God, the source of our being. Because if we were not separate from the source of our being, we wouldn't be separate from each other. It naturally follows. If I can have myself aligned with the power and the presence of the life that lives me, I'm going to find that everywhere I am, and I'm going to relate to everything and everyone as that and only as that. I will not be in competition. I will not be scrapping and scraping and grubbing to get on top of somebody to get the top of the ladder, etc., 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 whatever all of that is about. I will be self-contained within myself because I know who my source is, and I know my source never runs dry. So I will take myself, whatever needs I feel I have, to that source and know that that is the source of my good, and that's the only source of my good regardless of what it is. Love will do the deed, for with love stony hearts will bleed, said Herbert the poet. Love will do the deed. And so you have all these beautiful teachers coming amongst us reminding us of what that is, but it's not sentimentality, it's not sexuality, and it's certainly, you know, not what the screen, the Hollywood screen presents as love. It's not emotionality. It's a solid, substantive thing in of itself, and it's totally intelligent, totally infinitely intelligent. And it knows how to think, and it knows how to feel, and it knows how to be. That's what love knows. The thing is, how much of it do we know? How much of it do we know? So what does it mean to be loving? What does it mean to be kind? What does it mean to be understanding and compassionate in life and living? Because we have to find that out, or we're not going to be able to be all that we can be, the best of ourselves, which is given us to be. It's given to us to be the best of ourselves. But we're so needy. We're so needy, needy, needy. I need, I want. I haven't got. They have it over there, I don't, etc. And I want what they have. It's not fair, I tell you. Why should they have it and I'm without? I mean, come on. This is kindergarten stuff, and this is the thinking of those of us who are asleep. This is the thinking of ignorance. This is not the thinking of wisdom and understanding and counsel and knowledge, all the gifts of the Holy Spirit, which is the gifts of the soul, the creative womb of life and living that we came out of, and as coming out of that, we're armed with all of that capacity to enjoy and celebrate the life that is living through us, if we could only recognize it. So, my life is not my own, it is the life of the one who lives me. My word is not my own, it is the word of the one who speaks through me. My feelings are not my own, they are the feelings of that which feels through me, etc. If I could know that and trust that and rely on that, my life would be so, so different. But oh no, I think it's up to me, it's all up to me, I have to do it, me do it, me do it, me do it, me do bupkis. The I am of me is what does, because it is. And what it is the wholeness and the fullness and the plenty of life. So it's given to you and it's given to me to live a life that is flourishing, that is thriving, a life of celebration. It is given that. And it doesn't matter how we are. Now, some of us will be going, oh, if I have an ailment, it means I'm off track or whatever. No, it doesn't mean that at all. You can have all the ailments in the world, but if you have the right attitude, they will not interfere with your flourishing and your thriving in any old way at all. It's attitude. Attitude is everything. And the best way to release an ailment is to be okay with it, to honor it for what it is. It's an ailment. It's shown up for some good reason. It serves you in some good way. Find out the way it serves you. Find out if you're ready to release it, because if you're ready to release it, you can. You can. That's all it requires, is me ready to release something for it to go away. See, if it's not in my mind, it cannot be in my life. It's not in my consciousness, it cannot be in my life, because it is my consciousness that projects the kind of life I'm going to be living. Life is a projection of my consciousness. So if I'm not thinking sickness all the time, I can't be sick. If I am sick and I stop thinking in terms of sickness, it will go away. So many stories. I love the story about it's a hard story, but it's got a good moral to it and a good point to it. And the doctor that was called to the home where a young child was a very seriously ill child, very serious heart condition and circulatory condition. And when the doctor walked into the house, my goodness, he said the energy would hit you in the face, slap you in the face. It was so heavy. It was so very negative. And the energy between the husband and wife, you could cut with a knife. And when he'd finished with the child, he sat them down. He said, medicine can only do so much for your child, but the child needs more than medicine can do for him. He needs you too, to whatever it is that exists between you, to be healed, so that he can heal. Because the energy in this home is so toxic, and the energy between you two is so toxic, that nothing in this place could thrive or flourish. Whatever it is you need to sort out, because they apparently had a great deal of hatred and bitterness and resentment and suspicion of each other. He said to them, it's either, you know, you let go of all of that, or you will let go of your child. And of course, the moral of the story is they did pull themselves together. They got their act together, they got over themselves, and they worked genuinely at renewing their relationship and so forth. And the child did recover fully and return to normal life and living. I mean, we know all of these things. We absolutely know all of these things. It's like another man that ended up in hospital after, you know, overindulging and over-imbibing in alcohol and so on. And he was a wonderful man. And I mean, he set out with very good intentions, but he got caught up in the world of materiality to the point that he lost his family, he lost his friends, he lost everything. Ended up in hospital in a very serious ill condition. And said to the nurse, everything in my life is broken. I'm broken. My business is broken. My family is broken. Give me something to end it all. Give me something, please, to end it all. She said, I will. I will give you something. And he looked up and he shot up. He said, you will? She said, yes, I will give you something to end it all. I will remind you of the promise that your Creator made to you when you were born. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I will never leave you. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I will never leave you. Keep telling yourself that for a few days and see what happens. And, you know, he just thought she was out of her mind, but ran with it, and he did that. And believe it or not, he did come round. He did put himself together. He did renew himself. He renewed his business, and he put his family back together again, because he caught the consciousness of that thing that he hadn't been experiencing. Love, 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 unconditioned and unconditional. And see, the beauty of this is you understand that that love that loves us with an everlasting love, Jesus points out that the very a beautiful thing aligned with love on this plane is forgiveness, on this plane. It's not needed on any other, in the plane of the realm of the divine. There's nothing to forgive in the realm of the divine. But on this plane there is forgiveness. We forgive something. We forgo something in order to mend or fix or heal something. Forgiveness is the fullness of love coming through, and love saying, you know, no matter what, you are forgiven. It doesn't mean I condone for one moment the dastardly deed, but I can forgive you. I can forgive you because I can recognize that beneath all of that, there is a very refined truth and spirit and soul and beauty and grace and magnificence, and that you are not your dastardly deeds. The truth of you haven't discovered yet, but I'm willing to recognize it, and I'm willing to bless that part of you, and consequently release the resentment, the energy, and the anger around it, because the resentment, energy, anger around anything I cannot forgive is sickening me, is disturbing me, is discomforting me, and it's causing me harm, not anybody else, but me. And so forgiveness and love go hand in hand in that way. And the beauty of that is when Jesus says you have to forgive 70 times 7, we're saying 70 times, you must be out of your mind. 70 times 7, no way. Once, twice, maybe 3 times, you know, but after that, forget about it. But the beauty, the other side of that is to tell us that divine love always forgives us in a human sense. Not that it has to, because it's divine love. There's nothing to forgive in divine love, because divine love only sees you at the level of your beauty, your grace, your magnificence, and your truth. So, as far as divine love is concerned, you're all brilliant, you're great, you're grand, you're glorious, you're the beauty and the apple of God's eye, because that's all the divine can see. But on a human plane, we need something to help us to overcome our tendency to hang on to resentments and sicken ourselves with anger and so on and so forth. And so it is, you know, let love be the power and the presence that thinks through us, that feels through us, and that does from us and through us too. And let love show up every day. Let love show up as each and every one of us, because that's why we were created, to show up as love, to show up as light, to show up as beauty, to show up as grace. That's your calling, that's my calling, and we're putting ourselves to the test of that this week. This week, to what degree can I show up in life and living as that powerful presence emanating love, which will emanate light, which will emanate grace, which will emanate blessing, which will be a light wherever I am, which will be a soothing balm wherever I am, which will be that which uplifts wherever I am without me doing anything, saying anything, just showing up in that energy, as that energy, in that fire, in that light, in that awareness that I am one with the Father. The Father and I are one. And if we show up in that unified state, then we're going to unify everything around us, because love breathes life into everything. It begets life. It begets itself as love. So if I'm truly being love showing up, I will see the effect of that by the lifefulness that comes into being as a result of me allowing Spirit to be Spirit's self by means of me showing up as love. That's the way love works. That's the way love is. And that's the way you are too, because you are love personified in form. Physician, heal thyself, and so it is. We will be showing a slide show of some of those loved ones that have gone as we honor them and bless them.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu es l'image de Dieu. I hold you in my heart. Tu es l'image de l'amour. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu sei la luce di Dio. I hold you in my heart. Tu sei il volto dell'amore. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are the face of love, the face of love. I hold you in my heart, you in my heart. You are my family, you are my family. You are the face of love, the face of love. You are the face of God, the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the
God.
face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sais
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
And so in the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and at its end, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now very much a part of us as we remember them.